Well, David, again, feel so blessed that we can have this conversation. You are one of my heroes out there doing what God has called for you to do, and not only committed to your faith, but committed to excellence in what God has called you to do. So I want to begin to talk to you about your conversion experience coming to Christ, and then we'll just go from there.
Well, I have to start really early.
Okay.
As in, before I was even born, my parents came to this country from Korea in the early 60s, and to study and to find a better life after the Korean War. And while they were still students, my mother became pregnant with me. She was a pianist, concert pianist. And she decided, while she was pregnant with me, I'm going to have a son, and I'm going to train that son to become a world famous concert violinist. And that was it. So my destiny was kind of established before I entered the world. And then I started playing when I was 3, and then I was studying with the famous Dorothy DeLay at the age of 8, who was one of the great pedagogues of the 20th century at Juilliard. And then I was attending Juilliard from the age of 10, and then finished all the way through master's degree. And, so all of this to say that it was, my religion was music growing up. And my mother was truly the definition of Tiger Mom. The definition.
Did you push against that growing up, or?
Well, a little bit, but I was not allowed to. There was never a moment where I could say, well, I quit. Or it was 4 or 5 hours of practice every day. We're talking like 7-year-old kid.
Wow.
And I didn't learn how to swim, and, just all this stuff that kids take for granted. Homework, all of that went out the window. And all I was doing was practicing the violin. And my mother was just on a mission. And sadly, she passed away of cancer when I was 14.
Wow.
And she never saw the fruits of her labor on this planet. I know she is. I'm sure of her salvation. And it was just, it was a very intense childhood. She refused to have other children because she knew that would be a big distraction. She was always a churchgoer, but always as a church organist to make money to help pay for my lessons and all this. And I was always allowed to skip church if I needed to practice, but nothing else. I just never missed days practicing. Years would go by with not missing a day of practice because whether I was sick or whether it was my birthday or Christmas Day or anything, it was that intense. But, Paul, that's kind of what it takes, I have to say, that kind of intensity to get to the top level of pretty much anything, I believe. It's truly a combination of nature and nurture. And so I feel like there's no way that I would be having this incredible life in music without every one of those steps that my mother took, as draconian as they were.